So welcome back. We already now have internet connected to the device, and you can see Wi-Fi pop up on the screen, on the top angle of the screen, showing that it already has internet access. So currently right now I'm going to tap the open case once again so that we can go in. Remember, we got an error the last time. Now let's see what comes up now. Now we have an internet. We tap this, okay, we take yes again. Now you see there's no error. We have map fully loaded and you have it loading currently. So mind you, I'm in a house under a roof. So if I tap the workman, the guy that is on top of the screen around this angle, you see that it just knows that it's not going to give me anything. Error margin XXS meters, and cancel it simply because I'm not outside. I'm under a roof. So we're trying to see, to locate ourselves down to Nigeria, Abuja. We have a map for Abuja somewhere here. So we are working in Abuja right now. This is the index sheet loading. So for the sake of exercise, I'm just going to be picking up a random area in Abuja. We are going to be picking sample buildings and just work on it. We have an area right now. So the tutorial is to just make sure that every demarcator knows the hand of things. So we have gone through the profile creation, we have gone through the case, creating of a case, and then changing the case from a multi-EA locality to a multi-locality EA to a multi-EA locality. So currently now we're standing on a multi-EA locality, expected that this EA is going to close up with the estimated threshold reaching its right estimated population threshold. That's 450 or above. So right now we are going to be creating or adding buildings to our case. So first of all, you have the off button here that tells you that you turn off your editing. You have the add building to add a building. You have the add important features to add important features, and you have the other features. But for now, let's go one step at a time. You turn it off so that you can pan through the screen without having to tap anything and then disfigure or tamper with anything without giving wrong information to the system. So right now we add a building, add building. As soon as you have added a building, you want to pick a building. It's risky to be zooming while you put on add a building. So I advise you turn off and make the zooming. So now that we already have this, we pick this building. It already pops up on 1. That's our building code 1, and then we tap down the arrow below down here and you have building code 1. So it takes us to page 2. So your map interface automatically is page 1. This is page 2. The building we have picked initially, you see it's at the corner of the road, and we intend to carve the EA from that place. So definitely mark it as a corner building. What's the address of this place? You have, let's say, number 5 Abaji Street, and have a longitude and latitude. It's telling my distance from the building. Don't mind this because I'm not actually in the same area. That is one. Number 2, I'm also inside the building, so it's reading wrongly. So as a demarcator, you're expected to be outside, not having any roof covered above your head or any tree. Just have an open surface. Then you can use your working man. You can see that you will notice that distance is actually smaller and reduced to avoid error in your data. So now, after putting the building address, we tap the arrow going forward for the next. Then you have the building ownership. Building ownership is asking what type of building do we have. Is it privately owned, government owned, private agency or group? We have privately owned. The building type is a bungalow, story building structure, the big bungalow for right now. And then residential status, residential, private residence, yes. Now, if you tap on this 2 double button up here, the one that shows like this for a file tree, it gives you the EA summary. You have random number 2, building covered 0, residential building 0, and everything now to estimated population as 0 because we have not entered any residential building. Now, so random sampling is 2. Let's see what happens when we get to the next page. We get to the next page. It asks you how total number of households in this building. Let's say we give them 2 households in this building. And say next. You see, it's not asking for the total number of persons because we're on the random sampling 2. we do like to wrap up this EA or proceed to the next building. We are not done with the EA, it's just a single building so far. So we take next building. So let's pick our second building. Now see your editor thing is automatically on off. So automatically you need to zoom carefully. In that area we have another building at the back like a boys quarters. So we're going to take add building again and we'll pick the second building at the back. And then progress to the next. This is a corner building. We leave it blank because we have played the first one as a corner building. This is not a corner building. It's a building behind the building at the corner of the EA. So it still retains the same building address. Now I tap my keyboard, tap the open space. It brought up my keyboard, and you don't need to type it again. So instead of that, I'm going to minimize my keyboard and pick the drop down arrow right below this. You see, it tells me number 5 Abaji Street. Because it's the same area, the same compound, they share the same address. I simply tap paste and it duplicates the address for me there again. Then I take next. Let's go to the next page. Now it's a bungalow, definitely. A boys quarters definitely is a residential building. Just take yes, next. Now number of persons in that BQ. Let's say we have the gate man and there are maybe some other people staying there as a household. Let's say there are about 2 other households there. Next, now it's asking for total number of persons in sample building. They have families, maybe one of them has like 4, another having like 3, making a total of 7 persons in the house. We'll move next. Now we're on to the next building. So I believe you are seeing that this app makes the job faster and easier. We have added 2 buildings to this. Now on getting to the third building, we want to add the third building and we'll pick the third building, 3. Add building, we have building 3 here. Now, according to urban regional planning and some other courses we might have studied some times back, we know that geocoding of building addresses, odd numbers on the right and even numbers on the left or on opposite sides, the numbers are both different. If you have even numbers on the right, you have odd numbers on the left. So now, for this third building on the ground, if 1 was building number 5 as street address, definitely 3 should either be 7 or 3 as an odd number. But now let's make a mistake, a deliberate error. We are going to be inputting the wrong address to say we are in number 6 Abaji Street, and we advance to the end, and then we still give them the total number of households in the building as let's say 1, and we advance to the next building. We have made a mistake by putting 6 as the address. So take note, we are taking the building number 4, which is the boys quarters of that, and when getting there we are being told that the address is no longer 6 but it's number 7 Abaji Street. Now we have made a mistake in the previous building, which is 6. We have to go back and correct it to make sure it is 7. But before then, we complete this building further to the end, and then we have another 3 households in the boys quarters, and we are good to go. So now we have to edit this building number 3. These 3 dotted line, 3 dots on the right top corner of the screen on the same column as you have the EadPad 3.0, the double pointed file tree or detail. Then you have the 3 dots. Just tap the 3 dots. You have file tree. So you click on file tree, and it shows you total number of all the buildings you have picked. You have your building 1, building 2, building 3, building 4. Building 1 was correct, having number 5 Abaji Street. Building 2 is correct, having number 5 Abaji Street. Building 3, we made a mistake by putting number 6. So we're going to tap building 3. It's coming up, and we change it from 6 to 7. And then we just update. Sorry, it's a mistake. When it updates, you are about to update previous record made. Proceed, yes. Now we have updated this address from 6 to 7. Just tap the back button once again. Now look at it, you can see that you have number 5, number 7, and number 7. So both building 3 and building 4 stay in the same compound. They are both number 7 Abaji Street. So we have edited the building addresses of such. Now let us see what is our estimated population threshold. As at the time now that we are still mapping before we get to building 5. If you tap the 2 dots before the 3 dots that you tapped last, just the 2, tapping it. Now you have current estimation. We have covered 4 buildings. We have 4 residential buildings, 0 non-residential buildings, 0 institutional buildings. Current estimation population says 28. So we currently have 28 estimated population as of now. And clearly, if we keep going further and picking this the normal way we map, we get to the end of it and find out that when just keep checking this file tree to check the estimated population threshold. Then at the end of it, when you get to your threshold, we wrap up the EA, and hopefully, if I have 4 buildings here, we know that this box is not enough to give a population threshold of 450 and above. So extension is going to be taking place, adding another block of buildings to it to make up my EA. So thanks. For any other questions, feel free to ask.